Hello and welcome everyone to today's Avid Tech Talk webcast series. These sessions were created for Avid customers and partners who administer, design, use, and implement Avid products. These sessions were also created to help you be more successful with the deployment and use of Avid products. Today's session will focus on preparing for success with customer care, and today's session is a live webcast presentation. The session is not designed with polished marketing content, and instead these sessions are less formal and focused on providing participants with technical content and as much demo material as possible. I am Terry Coleman, Channel Program Manager in Avid Global Services, and I will be the host of today's session. Today's technical content will be presented by Chris Flaherty and Ben DeVille. Chris is a graduate of Emerson College, and he studied television and film production. Joined Avid in the late 90s and has held several roles over the years, including quality assurance and technical support. Chris is currently a customer care manager based in Burlington, Massachusetts, and his team supports a wide variety of products, including video and newsroom products. Ben DeVille joined Avid in 2005, working in technical support for DigiDesign. Prior to that, he completed his undergraduate degree in music and sound recording on the highly regarded Tonmeister course at the University of Surrey in the UK. Then he went on to earn his stripes installing and supporting recording studios with a London-based systems integrator, and since joining Avid, Ben has taken on the management of the Pro Tools product line, has been given responsibility for Sibelius, the M-Audio brand, and our audio field service operations. Ben now manages Avid Customer Care interests in the UK, Ireland, Israel, and India across the entire range of all Avid products. I'll now turn the session over to Chris and Ben.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, everyone, too, for joining Ben and I today. We want to talk about Avid Customer Care. You know, Ben and I wanted to take this opportunity to connect with you and share some information about the department, as well as walk you through creating a portal case. For many of you, this will be a review, but for some it could be new, and we believe it will help you, and you'll come away from the session with some good information that will help you work with our teams going forward. Some of the items we'll cover today are customer care teams, regions, skills, and products, what we do and where we do it, support contracts, how to get Avid support, contacting customer care, case lifecycle management. We believe some of you have some questions about that, so we want to go over it with you. How to create a portal case. Some references that will help you get information that you need. Might not know where to get it now, and hopefully this will help you out. And we'll end today by having a brief review of what we've discussed. Ben?
Thank you very much, Chris. So the first thing I wanted to look at was as Chris said, where we are and what we do and how we do it. So this first slide is really about where we are, and we are all across the world. We provide support for Avid products 24/7, and the way in which we do that is by having people in offices supporting Avid products throughout the world. And by doing this, we don't have to necessarily have support engineers doing support in the middle of the night. They can be doing support in their office while the sun is shining and providing support for somebody on the other side of the world who's on a night shift. So we've got our headquarters, our main offices in 3 places in the world. We've got Burlington, Massachusetts. We've got Pinewood Studios near London, our EMEA headquarters, and we've got Tokyo in Japan. That's where our APAC headquarters are. And in addition to those offices, we have people in places like Florida, California, Montreal, New York, Mexico City, in the Americas, and in EMEA, we provide language support, for example, in places like Munich in Germany, Paris, France, Madrid in Spain, and we also have some offices in Szczecin in Poland, Bucharest in Romania. Then APAC, we have a similar language-based issue, if you like, so we need offices in various places in APAC. So we have Sydney, Australia, Suzhou in China, Seoul, Korea, And the one place I haven't mentioned through all of these, because you'll see it in all of them, is Manila in the Philippines. It's the only place in the world actually where we provide support for all time zones. So we're really able to provide support whatever time of the day or night it is. So onto the who we are then. You'll see on this slide a few pictures of a few of the people that do the support for our products. And those people come from a wide range of places. We have people that have come from broadcasters, music studios, post-production facilities, from our clients basically, from our customers. So we're really bringing that talent in, the people that really know how to use our products and what the issues are with using our products. We gain that experience from getting those people from those areas. And we also like to bring people up from university, straight from college, people that have done degrees like I did, degrees in music and sound recording, degrees in video editing, what have you. So those people we nurture from a young age and bring them through training and bring them up to the same level of expertise as those people that we've gotten from broadcasters and post-production facilities. And those people growing their career with us. Those people and all the people that we have on our team, we keep them fresh with training programs. We like to give them industry experience so that they understand what it's like to work with our customers, understand what it's like to do work with our products. And we also like to push them beyond their limits, to take them out of their comfort zone, expose them to cases, projects that are beyond what they've experienced already. And working with more experienced staff within the company and as I say, using the products that they've not been used to, taking cases for products that they hadn't been taking cases for before. And amongst all that, it's 250 staff worldwide, roughly speaking. Those people have a tenure from 1 year to 25 years. And it's a diverse group of people supporting a diverse range of products. So what are those products? Most of you on the call will know what Avid does, of course, because you're Avid's customers, you're Avid's resellers. So we support everything from the editors that you see in the top left, storage, asset management, news. We have experts that provide support for our large live sound consoles, our broadcast consoles, everything that we sell. And we have some people that are experts in a few things, a few different things, the way that those things work together. We have people that specialize in areas as well. It's such a diverse range of products that we specialize, and we have people that understand the integration of the products as well. And as a lot of you will already know, recently Avid acquired a company called ORAD. And I'm pleased to say that we've now integrated ORAD into the wider Avid family. We've been working hard to do that, bring the people and the processes on board within Avid. And we can now handle ORAD support cases through the same case management system that we use for all the other Avid products, and also escalating through the same management chain as for any other Avid product. So how do you get support from Avid? That's really the next thing. And there's a couple of different ways. The first thing you see on this slide here is Avid support codes. These are something that we don't use as much now as we once did. And I'll explain a little bit about why. They're a way of providing a single support case or a single support incident. And historically, they've been provided free of charge with some of our products. there's been limitations on them, a single support case, only valid for 90 days, that kind of thing, when they're provided free of charge. It varies depending on what product that they've been supplied with. But since we've brought out subscription products, and increasingly we're providing support contracts bundled with our higher range products like S6L or ISIS 7000, Avid support codes are just more rarely used, particularly when it comes to bundled with products. You can still find those Avid support codes on our website, in the Avid store. They can be purchased for single support incidents if for whatever reason support is needed and a support contract isn't a viable option and isn't in place. So the support contracts then, these are provided with system IDs. So the way in which you use your support plan, the Avid Advantage support plans, is via a system ID. That's synonymous with the Avid support code. So the system ID will enable you to have 3 different levels of support here. So the standard level of support is that which we provide with our subscription products. And then 2 other levels, Expert Plus and Elite. There's an increase in the level of SLA provided with those products up to Elite, where you get an hour response to any support case that you put in. So that's really the top level of support. So we'll be demonstrating the web portal a little later on in the presentation. But I wanted to mention it now because it's important to note how you get support. So that simple question, how do you get Avid support? And the answer to that is either via the web or via the phone. Now, our preferred method of support, and for good reason, is via the web. And the reason we prefer the web is because when you create a case on the web, and you'll see this with Chris later, it provides you with all the information that you need to create a web case. It guides you through the process. And it allows you to put your problem down in a structured way. It also allows us to prioritize the cases that are coming in, to organize the cases within our system. It just helps in the life cycle of a case if it's started on the web. It reduces any kind of lost in translation when talking through a problem over the phone. Any version numbers or error messages or anything like that can be written down or copy and pasted straight into the case, and they don't rely on Chinese whispers over the phone, anything like that. So that's our preferred method. If your problem is really urgent and you desperately need to speak to somebody right now, that's where the phone comes in. The phone numbers for support are all available on the web, and they're localized in the areas where most of our customers are. So you'll find localized support lines on the web. There'll be a web link later on actually to tell you where to find that information. So to raise a case in the first place, you will need one of the 3 things that you see there. We don't insist that you have a support contract or an Avid support code if you're registering or activating your product. We understand clearly that often if support is bundled with the product you've bought, you're not even going to have that support contract until you've been able to register or activate your product. So that's one of the ways in which you can you can get support, you can get into contact with us. You've got a problem registering or activating. The second thing, an Avid support code. The third, a system ID with a valid support contract associated with it. So now Chris is going to take us through case lifecycle management and a demonstration of the support portal. Chris?
Thanks, Ben. So I'm going to go over case lifecycle management here at Avid. Basically, we use cases, that's the term we use to work with you through the issues that you contact us about. As Ben mentioned earlier, we can get cases created in two ways: a portal case or a phone call. If all support engineers are busy, like the slide says, calls will be picked up by our triage team. I want to talk a little bit about our triage team. The triage team will work with you to create a case and then get it into the hands of the appropriate support team that can help you. So they're there just to make sure that your time waiting on the phone is lessened. They'll be able to prioritize it and get it to the right team ASAP. So once it's handed off, a customer care support engineer will engage again ASAP to follow up with you to start the troubleshooting process. So this is a way we've built to expedite your interaction with us, being quick, efficient, and for the right person to be able to work with you on the technical issue that you have. I'll go into some more details about that when I do the demo. But on the right-hand side, there's a nice graphic that just tells you which particular status a case is in our system. You might hear something called FTS, or follow the sun. Wanted to explain a little bit more about that today. So we have experienced customer care staff located worldwide. Ben had a slide on that earlier. But wanted you to know that this allows us to continuously troubleshoot with you and resolve issues for you seamlessly. So what we really want you to know is that, anytime, day or night, we have people in an office that can help you out. If there's an issue for whatever reason they can't resolve it, there are many resources we have at their disposal. One item that they can do is escalate a case. I wanted to talk a little bit about that now. So they can escalate a case if it's needed, and then we have multiple layers of escalation. They can engage someone on our systems engineering team, or depending on the nature of the issue, they can go all the way up to development engineering. These are the core engineers we have at Avid. So we'll be able to get the issue addressed. I'm going to go into a demo now, but I wanted you to know the things that you'll need to be able to create a portal case. You have to have an Avid Master account, and you have to use an account with a system ID with an active contract. In the portal, you'll be able to see case status, any activity, get information on RMAs, see what your entitlements are, what equipment you have, contracts, and do some searching on our knowledge base. Okay, so here's the login to our portal. You can see here on the right, it's actually, if you need to create a master account we talked about earlier. We're going to log into the portal. Stand by. Okay, so we are actually logged in now to the Avid portal. This is the page you'll see. So just a quick thing before we start a case, that's the primary thing I'm going to talk about today. But I also wanted you to know that you can see other items here that may or may not help you out. So down the bottom, it gives you a description of our products. This particular tab, you can go and create cases and review old cases. I'll be going back to this one, but you can also see our knowledge base. Check on the equipment that you have at your site. So this is a really cool tip. It lists all of your equipment that you have there. And also you can create a case right off of that particular equipment. So if you have a problem with Media Composer, a specific Media Composer, you can create a case right there. For demonstration purposes, I'll go through the normal creating the case process. But also wanted to note that you can check out your contract status. Very important. This could waste a lot of your time if you didn't know about this and you're just trying to figure out what your contract status is of a particular component you have of Avid. If that was something that you're responsible for, you'd have to make calls, try to track someone down. But here, you can check it out quickly via the portal. And right there, it lists the products, system ID, and the end date of the contract. Cool. So now we're going to go into creating a case. Clicked on the Cases tab, of course. Create a new case. You can see video or audio. You get to choose. One thing I wanted to mention here as I go through this demonstration, but just so I've worked with a lot of customers, talked to them about the portal, had a lot of interaction with them. I'm not a salesperson, but these folks have told me that they really, really like using the portal. Many of the customers prefer it. As I go through this demo, you can see why, but they find it more convenient. They find that it's easier to update and check cases. Because remember, you don't have to go to our portal. Once you have an open case with us, you don't have to keep on going back to the portal, logging in to get an update. This can be done by email. You can get an update a case while you're, checking your email. You can see the latest case update. And you can have back and forth with the technical rep just by email. All that information that you provide us gets logged in the case. It's in the history. Okay, so I'm just basically going to create a case, happen to have there. So let's say green video on playback. It's very important, and this is something that we can spend a little bit of time on. The more information you give us, the more details, and just as importantly, setting the urgency, telling us how urgent this is for you, will help us expedite getting this taken care of. So there are key things to keep in mind. You can actually, in your description, you can put things like urgent, you can think off air. You can put these things right in the subject line. Other things you can write: affects many users, loss of data. These are key words that will help us prioritize the case, and you're telling us right up front. And this applies to any way you contact us via the web portal, phone. Tell us how it impacts you. I just wanted to show you too, many customers don't realize that you can expand the window that we have here to type in the information. Apologize for the typing there. So versions are very important, as Ben noted earlier. It gives us all the information. This is where you can kind of take control. You can control the information that you give us. You have the ability to go into as much detail or as little detail as you can. And the more information here, there's a line we use, it's like placing an Amazon order. If you don't have all the specific information in there, it's really going to delay the actual product getting to your door. And this is a similar analogy here. Okay, you can fill out this information. You expand the window, make it as long as you want. It does require you to fill out some fields, but again, if you do this a few times, the feedback from the customers I've talked about, it can fly by and it saves them having to be near a phone, making a phone call into support. So fill out as much information as you can. System ID. Now here, product levels. What is this all about? Well, this is where we can kind of direct the case to go to the appropriate team. And we have multiple layers here to say, okay, great, we have the big picture, we have a little bit more details, and then getting it down to the component level, and I'll show you here. Media suite. So, just as an FYI, for those who don't know, we categorize our products and we have them in suites. Media suite, storage suite, studio suite, artist suite. You can see them here. So it basically puts families of products together. Knowing that will help you direct cases where they need to go. So the upper level is asset management. This is an interplay. And then to the specific component of interplay. The next very important part of creating a portal case, and I stress it when I talk to customers all the time, is it's a two-step process. It's not slowing anything down, but it's a two-step process, and it's important to note because I'm going to click submit right now, and it's going to take me to the next stage, the next step. That will basically, if we have any of this information in our database, it will spit that information out right here. And hopefully you'll get an answer to your issue right now. If we had specific previous cases or examples of this right now, it would give you the option right here. If they solve it for you, terrific. If not, you have to take this second step. You see, it says it right there. To submit the case to a support agent, please click on submit to support. So this is critical because up to this stage, the customer care team will not see this case. You have to take that secondary step of submit to support, which I've just done, and there we go. It is in our system right now. It has a case number. From this, we'll be able to get it assigned to a technician to start troubleshooting the case and working it to resolution. I also wanted to mention here at the bottom, you have the ability to attach files. So just a quick note here, it will certainly take files, you can attach them right here. Some big files, this will not be able to handle. So your Avid tech, the technician you're working with, the support rep you're working with, they'll give you a avidtransfer.com link, so you'll be able to send us larger files. Just may be informative knowing that that's the case. Again, your case is created and it's going to go work through our system here to get resolved. Okay, so just a quick recap here. When you create a web portal case, the system ID is important. Subject field, briefly state the issue, but also put the urgency in. Again, this is where you have a role, and you can make sure that the case enters our door with the appropriate priority by putting, if it affects off air, affects many users, loss of data. Really, the key term there is, what's the business impact? And again, you might know it because it's a very serious situation and you're typing a case notes, but you can actually go into detail about how it is impacting your business, and that will help us too. Ben, I'd like to have you talk to this slide.
Sure, thanks, Chris. So we just wanted to leave you with some references, some places that you can go to really use some of the information that you've got today. So the first of those, and you'll have seen it fly by in Chris's demonstration there, Avid.com. And within Avid.com, across the top, you have support as one of those tabs. And within that, you can do all of the things that we've been talking about and more. So you can contact Avid support, you can sign into your account, and additional things like downloading, upgrading, activating, registering, etc. There's also a few very useful URLs for you here, and most of these are customized sort of, what do you call them, shortened URLs or vanity URLs, that's what people call them. So these could be useful for you if you're a fan of remembering where you want to go rather than relying on bookmarks or relying on navigating through avid.com to find where you want to go. So these vanity URLs can be very useful. So the master account where Chris went to log into the portal and create a case, my.avid.com. You can activate your software products at avid.com/activate. Registration of Avid products available at avid.com/register. And the knowledge base, and Chris touched on that, avid.com/kbase. You'll find that pretty powerful actually. There's a number of tools on there that I wanted to mention as well. That things like you can click within that link, avid.com/kbase. You can actually go in and search our forums. We've got an audio forum and a video forum, and find out if other people have been suffering the same issue. I don't know if you all feel this way, but whenever I have any kind of issue with anything, an Avid product or otherwise, I always think to myself, I can't be the first person that's suffered from this problem, and it's usually true. So those forums are a great way of finding out if somebody else has literally been suffering this thing in the last 10 minutes or so. Generally, we don't get stuff up on the knowledge base within 10 minutes. We like to try and get things up on the knowledge base as quickly as possible, but often, the community is the fastest to react, and they're the ones discussing it at the bleeding edge. And then finally, relevant to the Tech Talk program, rather than this specific Tech Talk itself, avid.com/Tech Talk. So you can go in there and register for future support topics and hear about all the other Tech Talks that we're doing and that we have planned.
Great, thanks, Ben. So now just a quick review of what we've covered here today. Customer care teams, we went over the regions and the skills of our techs who are working for you. Support contracts, how to get Avid support, contacting customer care, the multiple ways. Case lifecycle management, did a brief demo of creating a portal case and talked about why the web is the optimal way to get in touch with us, at least initially. And went over some web references. Now we'd like to transition into questions and answers. Does anyone have a question? I will also just mention here, while we're waiting there, that one of the most common things that I'm asked, and that is about, how do we handle web portal cases versus phone calls? And we don't differentiate in terms of the same techs handle both. So it's not like we're sending web portal cases to a different team or any type of different group. They're handled both by the same team. A rep could get a phone call and then take a web portal case as the very next case they take. So they're really handled the same exact way. I get that question a lot.
Thanks, Chris. We've actually had a question on the Q&A. Jerry's asked, is it possible to add attachments to cases without first submitting the case? This is a commonly asked question. Unfortunately, not. This is actually a limitation of the case management system that we use. So that's the answer to that, I'm afraid. There's another question actually from Thea. Says, can you please go back to the case information screen and outline or describe the primary case reason at case open? This has caused me some issues when filing a case. Is it failure or customer care or operations? So I think Chris is going to go back and just have a quick look at those for us.
So I believe that that was on the demo. So maybe we can do a quick check there. I believe if I'm reading the question correctly, case information screen in outline describe the primary.
So when you're creating the case, so if you do another new case there,
Yep.
And I think we're talking about the primary case reason at case open.
Well, basically, this is just to give you some categories to identify which family or topic the case would fall in. So it is different based on the primary case. You get to fill out additional information under the secondary reason. So similar to the products, level 1, product level 2, it'll give you specific information from what you pick. So we believe this captures everything. I'm not sure what the specific question.
Yeah, it's tough to know when we don't have a specific example of when you might be confused about what to put. So, if a hardware failure is happening, then choose primary case reason failure, secondary case reason hardware. Then if you're suffering a software failure, then primary case reason failure, secondary bug. Customer care you've mentioned, that's perhaps a bit of a catch-all and includes some not really a catch-all actually, more like these are the kinds of issues that are more admin based. So these go to more of a non-technical team. So the people that look into licensing issues, that look into or pass on issues with the Avid website. So customer care, more of a non-technical area is that. So.
Yep, so I was just kind of going over the different options you have, but it would be specific to, to find the most appropriate one. And by all means, if you can't find one that exactly is what your issue is, then you can basically clear that up once you get engaged with a technician, and they can work with you on that. So it's helpful to get it in, but if you're not finding the specific category that you believe the issue you're experiencing is, we can identify that and correct that after you engage with us. Yes.
Yeah, and just get close, right? It doesn't. None of these things will mean that your question doesn't get answered. Really, what we're doing with this is analytics. We're analyzing what kind of issues our customers are coming to us with. We also have something that the technician fills out at the end of the case, which is primary case reason at case close and secondary case reason at case close. And some of the things we're looking at there is there a big difference between the reason that the case came in and the reason that it got closed with? So is there a fundamental disconnect between what people believe the problem is and what the problem turns out to be? So we measure those two things. Jerry's asked another question here, which is, are ACSRs and resellers given any sort of priority in the web portal or phone system? And the answer to that is, to some extent, the main priority is done via the type of support contract that is owned, that the case is being created against. So the phone system has a priority for whether the contract that the system ID submitted is coming in for, whether it's an Elite, Expert Plus, or Expert. So if an Elite call comes in while an Expert Plus or Standard call is still waiting, then that Elite call will jump ahead. So there's priority in there. Then on the web as well, if a customer or reseller creates a case with a Elite contract assigned, then the system that we're looking at the Avid end tells us that we have Elite customers awaiting support, and those get answered before the Standard or the Expert Plus. The only proviso to that is if we've got an Elite customer, actually probably Elite customers will always get answered as soon as we can, but if we have an Expert Plus customer or an Expert Plus case that's just come in, literally in the last 10 minutes, and we have a Standard customer that's been waiting 23.5 hours, we might get to that Standard customer first. But generally speaking, we're stacking those cases against the contract that they've come in with. We also have duty managers that are looking at the case queues at all times. So if we are looking at the queues and we see that a case has come in from one of our top tier customers or from one of our resellers, and we can see that the subject line that they've written there indicates that there's a serious problem, then very often we will allocate those cases based on the priority that we see in that case. So I hope that answers the question.
So I don't see any other questions right now, unless I'm maybe missing some. Ben, if you don't see any other questions.
There's one here, sometimes cases this is from Vincent, sometimes cases end up being considered as software bugs and transferred to the engineering team. Is there a way for us customers to follow up what's happening after? So generally speaking, cases that get that we know what the issue is, we've got a bug against it. So there's a software bug, we log the bug with the engineering team. The customer gets told that the bug has been allocated to the engineering team, and then we will ask that customer to subscribe to the knowledge base article that refers to the version of software that they're using, or the type of software that they're using. And when you subscribe to a knowledge base article, that knowledge base article gets updated, you get emailed about that update, and you can go in and see. So when we bring out new versions of software, we update those knowledge base articles, and anybody that subscribes to that knowledge base article gets updated.
Hey, thanks, Ben. This is Terry. I've got one more question here from Thea as well, and it is, can you also talk about when adding screenshots, when you will allow for multiple uploads? Right now, when uploading screenshots of my error messages and workflow process, I have to update each and every one individually.
That's interesting. I wonder if there's an option there to zip up a load of screenshots into a single .zip file and attach that. Chris, any ideas?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about that. I'm not sure, but something we can look into.
So what we can do there is we'll take that question under advisement, and when we do the Q&A for the knowledge base article that will be with this recording, we'll make sure that that answer is included in there so you can get the answer to this. So we'll make sure that we take care of that for you. All right, I think we've gone through all the questions. If for some reason one comes up that we weren't able to address, again, we will include that in the knowledge base article, so thank you so much for that. And Chris, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Thank you both for conducting today's Tech Talk. Any questions that Chris and Ben were not able to answer, as I said, we'll make sure that you get a follow-up email with the KB article and the Q&A included with answers at that time. We should have those up by Friday. We hope you found the information today valuable and useful. And as we plan our next webcast series, we want to make sure we include topics most valuable to our customers. We also want to get your feedback on today's session. In order to get that feedback, we've got 3 opportunities for you to take an online survey. It's the same survey, but just 3 times it's shared with you. First, I've just sent it in the chat tool, so you're welcome to go and do it now while we just kind of close this out. Second, as we close out this webcast, it'll automatically redirect you to the survey, and you can fill it out at that time. And third, in about 24 hours, you'll receive a request to do the survey at that time. If you have not already done it, please feel free to do so. It's always good to have your feedback. And if you've already done it, just go ahead and delete that message. Please also feel free to send questions, comments, and additional feedback on today's session to customer.care@avid.com. Thank you again for attending today's session, and this concludes today's Avid Tech Talk session. Thanks so much.